All right, now that you have chosen the topic, written your testable question, did a little research, wrote your hypothesis, now it's time to start writing down the steps for what you need to do to conduct your experiment. Now this is a working list, so you can write down a whole bunch of steps, and while you're in the middle of your experiment you realize you left out a step, you can always go back and add it in later. Or if you realize you didn't need a step, you can take it out. So it's what's called a working list. And so there are a few things to keep in mind when you are starting your procedures for doing your experiment. And one of the things that you need to keep in mind is that you're only testing one thing. You only want to test one thing. So for our plant, we don't want to test, we're testing the height of plants based off the amount of caffeine that we're putting in the plant cups. And so you want to make sure that you're only testing one thing. There's a lot of things that you're going to want to keep the same. And so what you're keeping the same, in this case, we're going to be using the same seeds. We're going to have the same type of soil. We're going to have the same amount of sunlight. That's all going to stay the same size cups. Everything's going to stay the same. The only thing that's going to be different is which ones receive coffee and which ones receive water. So those are the things that we're changing. And then of course we're going to be measuring the height of the plant. So make sure you're only testing. So once you've started to plan the design of your procedure, there are some other things you need to keep in mind, and these things are writing these step-by-step directions and not leaving anything out. You want to be able to have your directions so specific so that if someone were to find your step-by-step directions, they could conduct the same experiment and get pretty much the same results. And for the judges that are coming around and judging the science fair, they want to be able to visualize all the steps that you did. So as they're reading your step-by-step directions, they're visualizing you doing these things. And so you want to be very specific. Let's look at an example of some step-by-step procedures. Let's see if I can get me out of the way here. All right, so here are some directions for the plants. And so number one, get 8 pea plants. And they had some, in this case, there's a specific set of how tall they are. Place 4 of the pea plants on each tray, so you have 2 trays, one for caffeine, one that's getting the water. Number 5 says pour 100 milliliters of coffee into the soil of each plant twice a week. Number 6, pour 100 milliliters of water into the soil of each plant twice a week. So you see 5 and 6, they keep things the same. The only thing that's different is the liquid that's being poured into the first 4 cups of soil and the second set of 4 cups of soil. And then after you're done is to measure each plant with a metric ruler and then record the data in the record book. And it's important to write down the information of what you measure. So if it starts out 100 centimeters tall, then you're going to see how it grows. And so this is where you're bringing in math, which is your measurement, to see how it grows. And now with your procedures, you notice there were a lot of materials in there: the cups, the soil, the seeds, the plants in this case, the rulers, and all these are the list of materials that you're using. I kind of think of this as one of the easiest things to do in your science fair project. It's just making a bulleted list with all the things that you use. Again, it's like a step-by-step procedure. It's a working list, so you can add things as you use them. So you can make a list of things that you think you'll use. And then when you're in the middle of the project and you realize, you know what, I need to have this. I need some towels to clean up. Or you can put that in your materials list, because it's just like in the procedures, if someone wants to copy your project and they want to follow your step-by-step, they know all the materials that you used, and so they can then go and make the same project. So be very specific again in your step-by-step for doing the science fair project, and then also have all the materials that you used or you think you will use in your project. So go ahead and be thinking about what materials will you need, and then what would be specifically using specific words so that you can do your project, and then someone else can come behind you and do the exact same project. And so now the final part is just to do your experiment. Have fun with it. And if you realize that it's getting a little tired or you're getting a little frustrated, just take a break. Step away from it for a little while, come back a little bit later. Anytime during the experiment something doesn't work right, remember what worked and what didn't work. You're going to talk about that at the end. So make sure you're writing down all this stuff. This is where you're bringing in writing to the science fair project. Science fair project is going to include a lot of different skills that you use in school. And so, but remember, make this fun. Of course, you've chosen the topic that you enjoy, so make this fun and have fun doing this.